Fitzgerald, Francis Scott, grew up in a Catholic Irish family in September the 24th, 1896, St. Paul, Minnesota. He studied at Princeton University without graduating and then enlisted in the army to participate in World War I. In 1920, he moved to France with his wife, Celle Desire. This couple went through heaven and through hell as no other. During that period of time, he wrote The Curious Case of Benjamin Button in 1922. He was inspired to conceive this short novel due to a phrase Mark Twain once said, "Life would be infinitely more joyful if we could be born at 80 years of age and gradually approach 18. A brief summary of the story will start by stating who was his main character. Benjamin Button, born in 1860, was Mr. and Mrs. Roger Button's first child. They were ahead of style, and instead of giving birth at their house, they decided to go to a hospital. Once had the baby opened his eyes for the first time, the whole hospital begged his father to bring him home with him due to the fact Benjamin was born as a 70-year-old man. This shocked everyone, of course, but as Benjamin grew older, his parents got used to it. His condition basically was that as he got older, he appeared younger. Let's say he lived backwards. This made life pretty hard and odd for him. For instance, when he was supposed to go to kindergarten, he instead smoked cigars and spent time with his grandfather. And by the time he applied for college, they didn't accept him because despite of being 18, he looked 50. Nevertheless, as the time passed and Benjamin began to look and feel young, he enlisted in the army, as the author did. He started dancing, went to university, but at the same time, people his actual age were getting retired and becoming old and gray. We will come back to Benjamin, but for now, let's continue with Fitzgerald. In 1930, his wife suffered her first crisis and was sent to a hospital. Not much later, it was discovered that she had schizophrenia. From that moment onwards, Fitzgerald has lost his muse, his inspiration, and lost himself to alcohol. Before all of this misfortune, he got to finish his best work, The Great Gatsby, in 1925 in France. Both in this book and in The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, love doesn't seem to work out for different reasons. However, I believe the author reflects his difficulties during his love life in both of these pieces. Also, before his wife and him fell apart, they had a daughter. She was very distant due to her parents' mental situation. It was not lack of love, but quite the contrary. It was simple survival instinct. Scotty could not be blamed for being a selfish girl. She said, quote, "I understood that there was only one way to survive their tragedy, and that was to ignore it." Fitzgerald gave up with an exchange of letters with his daughter from her first camp through college.
It's for me. 1970. I was 2. Happy birthday. I wish I could have kissed you goodnight. They're all for me. 5. I wish I could have taken you to your first day of school. 6. I wish I could have been there to teach you to play piano. 1981, 13. I wish I could have told you not to chase some boy. I wish I could have held you when you had a broken heart. I wish I could have been your father. Nothing I ever did will replace that.
Scotty was the main character of one of her father's best and most tragic stories, Return to Babylon. An ex-alcoholic returns to Paris for his abandoned daughter. His redemption is to get her back, but she is the orison of salvation that escapes him. This brings me back to Benjamin. Fitzgerald had a tragic and in some cases depressive story. Some of those aspects also appear in Benjamin's story. He was born different. He was destined to live in a way we can only imagine, but no one ever really accepted him as he really was. Fitzgerald died in 1940 and Zelda in 1948 in a fire that burned down the hospital while she was taken care of. In 1975, the remains of both were buried together. On his tombstone reads the ending of Great Gatsby.
I thought of Gatsby's wonder when he first picked out the green light at the end of Daisy's dock. He had come such a long way, and his dream must have seemed so close that he could hardly fail to grasp it. But he did not know that it was already behind him. Gatsby believed in the green light, the orgastic future that year by year recedes before us. It eluded us then, but that's no matter. Tomorrow we will run faster, stretch out our arms farther, and one fine morning, so we beat on, boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past.
It's never too late, or
in my case, too early, to be whoever you want to be. There's no time limit. Start whenever you want. You can change or stay the same. There are no rules to this thing. We can make the best or the worst of it. I hope you make the best of it. I hope you see things that startle you. I hope you feel things you never felt before. I hope you meet people with a different point of view. I hope you live a life you're proud of. And if you find that you're not, I hope you have the strength to start over.